Rogue Brewing Company out of Newport, Oregon. Pumpkin Patch Ale. Ale brewed with Rogue Farm pumpkins. 6.1% alcohol. Let's give it a shot. So this beer I've been seeing popping up on my social media left and right for probably the last month and a half. Maybe even 2 months. This had a very big expectation from yours truly going into this. Not only was it not the sized bottle I thought it would be, I've tried some Rogue beers in the past. Some of them have been pretty good. I've tried a few that were not so great, but Rogue is still one of those beers that I hold it above 500, if that makes sense, if you're a sports fan. I consider them an above 500 company, in my opinion, from the beers that I've tried. This one, the label, the bottle, everything was amazing about it. I saw it in the store. I said, okay, let's do this. Not only was it in the store, it was in a special section of the store where you had to buy individual bottles, and usually they're kind of pricey. This one was no different. I think this one ran me somewhere close in the frame of $11 to $12 just for this bottle. So even with that in mind, my expectations went a little bit higher. I said, if I'm going to spend that much money on one drink, it better be worth my money. Got home, opened it up. I'm still extremely critical, regardless of the money that I spend, on my pumpkin beers. This one did not do it for me. And that's the bottom line. There's nothing else I really have to say about this beer except it didn't meet my expectations, and I feel like I'm really going to hammer them in this review, because if you're going to bottle a beer in a bottle like this and market it outside of the 6-pack and have stores sell it individually because they have to get their money back for purchasing the product, you better deliver. And if I'm going to spend as much on one drink as I do in an entire 6-pack, you might want to do it right. This is essentially, it feels like a lager, a slight ale bitterness behind it. It reminds me very similar of like a Yingling for some reason, or maybe like a Boston lager, with a slight pumpkin flavor that you could get from any other beer company for probably a quarter of the price. And that's really my disappointing fact here, is it's got to be so expensive for the consumer to purchase this product. I don't know if they make 12-ounce bottles, but you probably should, and not sell it for a ridiculous amount of money when you're basically getting a generic pumpkin flavor in whatever you're brewing. If you're going to buy this beer, which I'm going to forewarn you now, if you see this beer on your shelf and you think, wow, that looks tasty, that looks like a tasty brew, you're probably going to be disappointed. Not only are you going to be disappointed in the brew, you're going to be disappointed in yourself for spending as much money as you did. And for Rogue Brewing Company to come out, maybe on the West Coast, it's a lot different. Maybe they're held in a much higher regard. But here on the East Coast, a little bit harder to get your brews. But especially if you're going to buy something this expensive for one drink, once you open it, it's got a shelf life. I wanted more out of this. Is it a sweet pumpkin? Not really. It's not a dry pumpkin. It's just slightly above that sweet factor. There's something really vegetable-y about the beer. And it says it's brewed with real pumpkins. That's not what people want to taste. They want to taste pumpkin pie or pumpkin spice or pumpkin bread or something along those lines. Something in the bakery section or a sweet factor. And regardless of the amount of time and effort that it took to brew this batch of beer, you cannot expect the consumer to pay upwards of $10 for one beer. And I'm actually downplaying that because, again, I think it was more along the lines of $11 or $12 for this beer. But you can't expect somebody to try your beer for the first time because they're not giving out free samples everywhere just in case they might like it. You have to really come prepared and ready to meet expectations at the plate and knock it out of the park. Again, I think I'm really being biased here with this beer, but I can honestly say I'm not going to get it again, especially for the price. If it was maybe for a 12-ounce, maybe $1.50, $2 for a beer, who knows? I might be in the mood for it one day. However, compared to the other beers that I have had that are way cheaper, this doesn't stand a chance. And I'm actually disappointed at myself, but that's why I do this. I like trying beers. I like getting it out to you, to the consumer, so you know or maybe have an idea of what to get into before you purchase the product. Moving on, my drinkability on this, it's just kind of a lager or light ale with some pumpkin-ish flavor, slightly sweet. Yeah, about medium-bodied. Almost kind of an annoying flavor, too, if I can say that. And I could maybe see drinking 3 of these. Not 3 of these. I'm just saying of a regular 12-ounce beer. Clearly, it's meant for the October, fall, November, whatever months. On a scale of 1 to 10, though, this is a 5. Maybe borderline 6, but I'm going to stick with a 5. There's nothing fantastic about this beer, especially with the price, the bottle, the label, the social media. Nothing about this beer really went over the top for me, or even just met the standard, if I can say that. And I think I'm being really biased, and I'm in this specific review, I'm going to really kind of put like an advisory or some sort of spoiler alert kind of thing. Like, hey, I'm being extremely biased when I'm criticizing this beer because there's a lot of factors that go into it. The availability, the social media that I've been seeing about this beer, the price, and then the fact that it has to come in this giant bottle. Now, I'm not saying that that's across the country. However, this area specifically, this is the first time I've seen it. And it had to come in this giant bottle, and it had to come for this price. And I just feel like for the product that you're getting inside the bottle, it's not worth it. So, again, that's Rogue Brewing Company. Pumpkin Patch Ale brewed with Rogue Farm pumpkins out of Newport, Oregon. 6.1% alcohol.